welcome to Sports Center. Come on in. Mark and Jermaine here with you. And Mark, it has been an outstanding day of hockey so far, and it's not over. But of course, we start with Canada, who had another solid, strong effort against the pesky Czechs.
Yeah, and they have not been tested so far in this tournament. But when you transition to January in this tournament, there's no margin for error as Canada looks to advance to the semifinals against the Czech Republic. Now, Canada has never lost to the Czechs in the medal round at the World Juniors. Canada also dominant during the group stage this year. They're the only team in the tournament that hasn't trailed for a single second. First period, Connor McMichael. Great flip pass to spring Dylan Cousins, who's been so good in this tournament, leading Canada with 6 goals and 11 points coming into the game. And right there, he adds to that number, and Canada has a 1-0 lead. And after Captain Kirby Dach was sidelined for the tournament due to injury, Cousins and Bowen Byram have been splitting duties wearing the C for Canada. And later in the first, tonight's captain, Byram buries his first of the tournament. Cousins picking up an assist on the play. Canada's co-captains combined to put Canada up 2-0. Then in the second period, Cousins can't corral the puck in the neutral zone. Martin Long unloads, and it's Devon Levy making the save. Levi posted a .951 save percentage in the preliminary round. This one's still 2-0 after 2 early in the third period. McMichael with a good chance, but he can't beat Nick Malik. McMichael hit 3 posts in Canada's last game against Finland. And then it's Gordon Miller having some fun at the expense of Rod Smith.
In the middle of the Sports Center cast, amazingly, the cutout of Rod Smith in the upper right, that's actually actual size.
Rod Smith and his people are going to have something to say about that. Checks with the net empty, quick shot off the draw, and Levi turns that aside. A few seconds later, Levi has to be sharp on the shot for the point. A minute later, the puck is flipped ahead for McMichael. He makes a move and puts it into the empty cage. McMichael gets his goal. Canada advances to the semifinals with the victory over the Czech Republic by a score of 3-0. And Canada still has not trailed at any point during their 5 games at this tournament. In fact, with Dylan Cousins opening the scoring just over 8 minutes in, Canada has been ahead by at least a goal for over 280 of the possible 300 minutes so far at this tournament. With more on their victory as Canada advances to the semifinals, let's go back to Edmonton and join James Duffy.
All right, thank you. With Bob McKenzie and Craig Button. Well, sometimes they are Picassos or Monets, and sometimes they're James Duffy finger paintings. This one probably closer to the latter. But give the Czechs a ton of credit for hanging around and making this one difficult for Canada. And though it wasn't that pretty, Bob, what can Canada take from this as to being battle-tested in a tough game?
Well, that's exactly what it was. They call it a pressure-tested victory, and those are important because, number one, it's a victory, first and foremost, but secondarily, it's important to get pushed sometimes. And even if you're not bringing your A-plus game, to be able to go up against a team like the Czechs and find a way to get it done. Now, against the Slovaks, there were a couple of moments where it was tight in the final few minutes. Against the Finns, there was maybe 5, 6, 10 minutes where maybe you wondered a little bit. That entire third period, there was some question as to what was going to happen, even though Canada was able to keep the Czechs to the outside and they didn't score a goal. But there's the scoring chances from the slot, 31-20 in favor of Canada. So you say, oh, lopsided, 31-20. For Canada to give up 20 scoring chances from the slot in a tournament where most of the opposition hasn't come close to that, that's the kind of victory you take away and lots of things to work with for the semifinals.
You're right, and you can say winning ugly, but there was some beauty in it, and it starts with the guy in goal and Devon Levi. If there were any doubters still left, I suppose the only thing they could say is, well, Craig, he's never been tested that much. He hasn't faced more than 20 shots in a game, 29 in this one. Bob talked about the quality of scoring chances. How impressed were you with that performance?
Well, what you want to see, his ability to understand, where the challenges are going to come from, where the dangerous opportunities may ensue from is exceptional because he reads the game so well. But he also understands the rhythms of the game, when to get a face-off, when he has to get the stoppage to settle everything down. And that speaks to incredible composure. Directs the puck very nicely. Keep this in mind. He has given up 3 goals in his 5 games in this tournament, save for one period that Dylan Garand played. 2 of those goals went off the sticks of his defenseman. He has been brilliant, and there should be no question about his capability to help Canada compete for a gold medal.
If someone had to go through all our panels throughout these World Juniors and see who we talked about the most, it would probably, and that would be a horrible job, by the way, to do. I don't wish that on anyone. It would probably be between Devin Levi and Dylan Cousins, who, Bob, once again in the first period, game on the line, is the standout for Canada.
Dylan Cousins has been Canada's best player, no doubt about it. And he gets into the action so early and makes a difference. And he did that again in this hockey game. It didn't take very long for Dylan Cousins to get it going. And again, 200-foot player. He's in the defensive zone. Gets his stick on a puck, goes to Connor McMichael. Great alley-oop pass from Connor McMichael to read that. Cousins goes in, he scores, it leaks through Malik. He gets the 1-0 lead. Here we are a little bit later. Big center drive. Look at all the white sweaters collapse down to go after Cousins. Cousins now goes net front, provides a screen, Bowen Byram shoots, he scores. Canada's up 2-0. It was 2-0 for much of the game. And what was the reason why? A goal, and basically that second one that was set up by Dylan Cousins that goes to Bowen Byram. So he's been doing that game after game after game. Strength, speed, skill, power, you name it. The co-captain for Canada has been fantastic in every game.
You know the coaching staff won't be overwhelmed and thrilled with this one, but in some ways it's the best way to win. If this had been a blowout, maybe you worry about complacency. A ton to work on before the semifinal.
More quarterfinal action. Finland, Sweden, opening frame. Lucas Raymond walks in and buries it to open the scoring. Look at the deception from the Red Wings fourth overall pick in 2020. Faking the pass before scoring his second goal of the tournament. Just beautiful. Nicely executed. Still in the frame. Sweden on the man advantage. Raymond feeds Elmer Soderblom in front, who goes between the legs for his second of the tournament. The 6'8" winger showing off his silky mitts in tight with a move virtually identical to the goal that the Red Wings prospect scored earlier in the tournament against the Czechs. Sweden up 2-0 after 1 to the third. Finland on the power play. Vinny Heinola feeds Anton Lundell, who ties it at 2. The Finnish captain with his 4th of the tournament on a great feed from the Jets' first rounder, setting the table for a wild finish.
Lundell on it again, plays for Hirvonen. Hirvonen center, Peckman, oh, what a chance! Scramble in front of the net, Olafur down, score!
Wow, Leafs prospect Roni Hirvonen completes the comeback with just 23 seconds left in regulation. Finland eliminates the Swedes and advances to the semifinals. Russia, Germany. The Germans in the playoff round of the World Juniors for the first time on the power play in the first. It's Russia's Vasily Ponomaryov behind the defense. Deekson scores 1-0 on a shorthanded goal. Great pass by Semyon Chisyakov to set it up. Second period, Sens first-round pick Tim Stützle with a point-blank chance. His shot is stopped. On the rebound, Florian Elias misses the wide-open net. 7 minutes later, Russia extend their lead. A nice pass from behind the net by Yegor Afanasyev to Daniil Bashkirov. 2-0. Funny moment later in the period. Vladislav Fierstov, still looking for his first point of the tournament, takes the puck off Stützle all alone. But he trips up on his own. The Minnesota Wild draft pick just blows a tire. Germany showed life in the third. Elias gathers the puck in the slot, goes top shelf to cut the lead to 1. 8 minutes later, looking to tie. It's Elias again, but his deflection hits the crossbar. That music never sounded so good to Russia as they hang on to win 2-1, advance to the semifinals. Stay tuned for the United States and Slovakia squaring off in the last quarterfinal matchup of the day. Puck drop at 10:30 p.m. Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, right after Sports Center.
This tournament report was brought to you by Napa Auto Parts.
Canada's off to the semis. Another shutout for Devin Levi, who's standing by with Ryan Rashog.
Devin, a second shutout for you in the tournament. How did you feel in net tonight? And did you get the sense you just needed to sort of stay strong while your team sorted itself out?
Yeah, I mean, I felt good. I was excited to play first quarterfinal game, first playoff game. It was super fun, and you know, I just tried to hold the fort as long as I could, and I knew the guys were going to score, so I just tried to help them out as much as I could.
It seems your game has been consistent, start to finish, in pretty much all of the games that you have played. Are you normally like this? Are you even surprised just how consistent you've been able to be?
I mean, I think what helps is that I treat practices and games somewhat the same. When I go out on the ice and practice, I work hard, and I want to stop every puck just like I do in games. So even game to game here, I've been treating them the same, and I'll continue to do so.
Bigger picture question. I mean, you weren't invited to Hockey Canada's virtual camp. This has not come out of nowhere, but people wouldn't have necessarily pegged you as the guy to come in here and do this. Are you shaking your head a little bit about all that you've accomplished so far?
Not really. I mean, I knew I just had to put in the work, and eventually my time would come, and I was sort of patient with that. I just made sure that I got at each day and made sure I got better every day, and I knew it would pay off eventually.
We don't know who the opponent will be yet, but just give us your thoughts on a semifinal stage. You just got through a quarterfinal, what that will be like for you.
I'm going to treat it like any other game. I'm just going to go have fun, play, and give my team the best chance to win.
Good stuff. Thanks, Devin.
Thank you.
Devin Levi's been so good for Team Canada in this tournament. Nearly unbeatable, giving up 3 goals in 5 games. The 19-year-old leads the tournament with a goals against average of under 1 and a .967 save percentage. He also picked up his tournament-leading second shutout in the quarterfinal win against the Czech Republic. With more, let's go back to Edmonton and join James Duffy.
Thank you. Back with Bob McKenzie and Craig Button. To quote the legendary prophet Odagius, Jeff O'Neill, sometimes you have to win with your B game. Was that Canada's B game, Craig?
Absolutely, and at times it looked like maybe their C game, the way that the Czechs were gaining confidence over the course of the game. But you have to be able to do things to allow yourself the chance to win. There's a turnover in the neutral zone, and who has to make sure they're not leaky? The goaltender, and Devin Levi was not leaky in any way, shape, or form. Again, we see that turnover, and the Czechs putting some pressure on, denied time and time again by Devin Levi. Here's another play in the offensive zone, a strip of Braden Schneider, but Peyton Krebs, he just jumps to it and intercepts that pass. So you have to understand that there's going to be different moments in the game that are going to require some real significant effort by your forwards or defensemen, because you're not in control of the game. And Canada found those efforts from different players and the stellar goaltending from Devin Levi.
And Craig, that looking for a solution or looking for answers is something that everybody in the team has to embrace, including the head coach. And what we saw in this game were more in-game adjustments where every single forward line got an adjustment over the course of the game. This is how things finished up. Peyton Krebs got moved up with Connor McMichael and Dylan Cousins on the top offensive line. Connor Zary moved from center to left wing. Dylan Holloway came off that top line and started playing a little bit of center with Peltier and Zary. Cole Perfetti moved onto the line with Quinton Byfield and Dawson Mercer. Mercer was on the left wing with Suzuki and Tomasino. Jack Quinn moved into that spot. So just subtle changes, but to every single line, and Canada gets out the win.
I wonder if the Canadians thought maybe the Czechs would just disappear once it was 2-0, because that happened in group play. They fell behind against Sweden and ended up losing 7-1. Fell behind against the Americans, lost 7-0. But credit them for hanging around throughout this hockey game. What did you think, Bob, of the coach's decision to pull the goalie that early? I guess you're going for a victory. Say something about that.
I absolutely loved it. There were over 5 minutes left. They were down by 2, and the Czechs decided, you know what, we're getting Nick Malik out of the net. off to the bench, and for most of the 5 minutes that were left, that's where he was. And the Czechs mounted some really significant pressure. A lot of times, some of the European coaches are really slow on the goalie pull. That was a really aggressive one, and it wasn't until Connor McMichael sealed the deal that this game was really questionable. So McMichael ended up having himself a day. He led all forwards with 18:32 of ice time. He had a goal, he had an assist, he was +3. He was 17-7 in the face-off circle. So a real tidy day for Connor McMichael in every front.
And I, like you, Bob, loved what the Czech coach did. His players were playing hard, they were playing determined, and he said, I'm going to give you every single opportunity to get a goal. That's playing to win, not playing safe.
Just surprised that he didn't pull the goalie then after the Canadian penalty when the game was still 3-0 and they still had a chance. Bowen Byram, Canada's player of the game, almost 25 minutes, just a terrific effort for Team Canada, and one of the reasons they're off to the semis.
All right, new on SC, here's Jamie Drysdale with Ryan Rashog.
Jamie, I know you respected that opponent coming into this game. You watched them beat the Russians. Tell us about the challenge that they provided and how you think you guys did.
Yeah, for sure. We knew it was going to be a good game. It's the quarterfinals of the World Juniors. You know everyone's going to, give their best effort out there. And, our kind of pre-scout is that they blocked a lot of shots. They played tight defense, and that's exactly what they did. I think they blocked a lot of shots, and, I think we just had to figure out a way to kind of get around that. And, we got a couple early, and I think that, we did a good job throughout the game, and we got to keep getting better throughout the tournament.
Do you feel you guys have gotten to a point as a team where whatever the opponent throws at you, it's more about your own game? And are you able to access that game when you feel you need it?
Yeah, I think every team's got different things they're going to throw at you. So I think we just got to do our best to overcome every obstacle, and every team's going to give you a different one of those. So it's more of a read and react kind of thing, and figure out what you got to do in order to win the game. And I think that that's what we're going to try and do. Pre-scout our next opponent and figure out what that is, and come out flying.
You're fresh out of the dressing room after a win right now. On the other side of the doors, we can hear the music, we can hear the cheering. How's the atmosphere in there after wins, and what are you guys doing?
Yeah, it's obviously we get the tunes going and have some fun with it. I think, we spent a good couple hours after the game just enjoying it and, having fun with the teammates. And, we understand that, coming tomorrow and the following day, it's time to dial in, make sure our bodies feel right, getting done what we need to do in order to, feel good going to the semis. So I think it's obviously a really good positive atmosphere in there, but we know we need to, clean some things up and, be ready to play the semis.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Thank you.
Dylan Cousins' goal ended up being the game winner for Team Canada, and he's now with Ryan Rashog.
Dylan, another solid win for your team, a shutout victory. How did you feel about overall the way you guys played today?
Yeah, I mean, the Czechs played a real good game. They played real solid and disciplined, and they kind of did what we expected them to, clog in the middle. I think we just had to do a better job in getting shots through and just getting traffic at the net.
It seemed like there were some things you wanted to do. At times you were able to, at times you weren't. Is it good for you guys to bump up against a little bit of frustration and a little bit of pushback like that?
Yeah, I think it's good for us to face a little bit of adversity. They came out hard and they pressured us lots. Levi kept us in there good. He played a great game. He's been great for us all tournament. So we know we got more in the tank though.
I wanted to ask about Devin. It seems like his play has been consistent in every single game that he's played. He hasn't really had moments where he's looked even shaky. Are you not surprised, but are you impressed with the consistency that he's shown start to finish here?
Yeah, for sure. Like I said before, he's been great for us. He's been a huge, part of our back end and stopping the puck. He's been real great, and we're very confident in his abilities.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Dylan Cousins continues to sit atop the scoring race at the tournament. The Sabres prospect now has 22 points in his career for Canada at this tournament, passing John Tavares for 6th most in Canada's World Junior history. When we return, the Raptors go down to the wire in the Big Easy. Canada's off to the semis. Here's head coach Andre Tourigny with Ryan Rashog.
Andre, you knew the Czechs were going to play this game a certain way. How do you think your team responded and adapted to what they threw at you?
I thought we started well. I thought at some point that style of play creates frustration in your game. You force a little bit. But I think we battled really hard defensively. If you look in the second period, was probably our best effort defensively. And we did a lot of good things, even if it was not maybe a masterpiece. But I think we grinded out and we played well enough to win.
Dylan Cousins said, he feels like it's good that your team maybe had to push up against some frustration, that could be a positive thing for your group moving forward. Do you like seeing that as a coach in some ways?
I like it. I like the comment of Cousy. I like what we've been through. I like it was really tough, and the Czech played really well. They battled hard. They were hard in battle. They made it tough on us, and we said it since the beginning. That tournament, it's all about adversity and how you deal with adversity. We had adversity, and we played solid defensively, and Devin came big at key moment. It's a big win.
Yeah, I want to ask you about Levi. Maybe as the play of your team comes and goes a little bit here and there, it just seems he's been the same the whole way through. Is that fair?
Yeah, he's ready. When we have a breakdown, he's there, he's ready, he's assertive, he competes, he's laser focused. He's doing a good job for us.
When did you know he was going to be able to handle this?
I did not.
Weren't sure heading in.
I won't say I knew him and no doubt. No, it's not true. We like him since the beginning. Since he's with us, we love what he brings. We love his energy. We love his focus. We love his attention to detail. We love everything about him. But if I'm telling you, I knew that on September 12, I knew that. That's not true. I did not know that. I saw him play Junior A last year because he was playing against my son. I think he was outstanding, but it was Junior A. So how could I know his play will be able to translate at that level? I did not know.
Good stuff. Thanks, Andre.
Thank you, Ryan.